Hey, it's me, Greg Morton, and you're watching The Ego's Last Stand. What are we watching that for?
I don't know.
We should be watching it every day!
I can't watch it every day. I got things to do. I got laundry and everything. I can't do that.
When I come around, got the whole thing wobbing.
And we're back for another episode of The Ego's Last Stand. I'm Josh, I'm your host, and this is the Quarantine Chronicles. That's right, we're back here for another episode. And today I've got one of my good friends in comedy. I love this guy to death. Shawn Reynolds is on the show. Shawn, how you doing, bud?
Hello. Doing good. Are you doing all right?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. And, Shawn always has a special place in my heart. This guy, first off, he's one of the few guys I know that is completely clean. I don't even think this guy says shit anywhere, ever.
I don't say shit ever, so.
But he's fantastic. Shawn been traveling around doing a lot of comedy, and of course this thing has struck him just like it's done the rest of us.
Yeah.
But, Shawn, it was important. I wanted to get you on here just because I got to check on all my friends, and you look great, man. Where are you at in your room? It looks like you got Bob Ross behind you and everything.
This is my podcast studio, man. We finally started our podcast. We've been trying to do it since November. And so this is just like we have a family podcast, and this is just like all the things that kind of represent our family. We have like the Stranger Things poster. That's our favorite show. We have the Beatles. We love the Beatles. We love Bob Ross. Behind me is the Playbills from Hamilton and Come From Away. So yeah, it's just like, and then all the paintings are done by one of my kids.
And you have a couple.
We have several. Last I checked, it was 6.
6, yeah.
So I guess we're breaking some kind of state laws by having this many people.
The Mormons are really proud of you, though.
Oh yeah, no, we're killing it with the Mormons. But yeah, Governor Andy is like, that's a large gathering. I'm like, sorry, Andy, this is my family. So
you made a post on Instagram one day. You said something like, if they keep shortening the gathering size, one of my kids is going to get voted off the island.
Get voted off the island. Well, we joked about it, and we said who'd everybody vote off, which kid, and the vote came in unanimous. It was me. And so they're like, Dad, you're not working right now, and you eat more food than any of us. So if anybody's you're the biggest hole in the boat. So and they had a point. They had a great point.
I mean, and you would make your daughter go out where there possibly could be bears outside. Alone. That
is true. That is an absolute. It's so funny. It's so weird that you just brought that up. We literally were just talking about that story today.
Oh, well, do tell.
So now in the bit. So here's a little trick in comedy. Is everything we say is not 100% true. Now, but what I don't make anything up though. So everything that I do starts from a point of truth, and so when I tell the story on stage, the joke is that this happened at my aunt and uncle's house, but it really happened at a wedding, but also all my aunts and uncles were there. So it doesn't make as much sense to like have to explain that we were at a wedding. But we were at this hotel in Gatlinburg. I think it's called. Is it the Omni? It's the circle one. It's at the top of a mountain. I think it's called the Omni. I might be wrong. Yeah. And so that's where we had a wedding. And when we get there, they had all these signs up that said, don't leave food in your cars because of the bears. Now, we had never been to Gatlinburg. It was our first time. This is quite a while ago. And so I was freaking out. I'm like, what? Like, the bear problem is so prevalent that we can't leave, Cheez-Its in our car? So I was freaking out. So we get into the hotel. I get my kids set up in the room. We go down for the wedding and the reception. It was all in the hotel. And then it was like 11:30 at night. I went upstairs to check on the kids. And I was tucking them in. And my daughter Kylie, who at the time was like 5, she has this blankie that everywhere she goes, the blankie goes. She can't sleep without the blankie. I was tucking her into her bed, and she goes, Daddy, I left my blankie outside in the van. And I was like, well, Daddy's gonna need you to be a big girl tonight. And all my aunts and uncles, Katie went downstairs, my wife, and went down and told everybody that I would not go outside to the van to get her blankie because I was scared of the bears. And then all night, everybody just made fun of me. So yeah, that's the true, 100% true story.
That's fantastic. I love that story. Anytime you tell it on stage, it always rocks the house. It's a good story.
It is a lot of fun, yeah. And then honestly, like the jokes that I put into the bit of what my uncles are telling me is all, once again, it's all true. It just happened at different stages. So like we did go down there eventually, and my aunts and uncles do have a huge problem with bears. They text me pictures all the time because they have cameras set up now. they'll text me all the time. Big black bears on their porches. And but they talk to me about like it's nothing, and they're always just telling me it's not a big deal. You just raise your jacket up, make yourself look bigger. And so I just kind of took everything that had happened with my family and bears and just made it into one succinct bit. But it's all true.
No, I love it. It's a great story. You said something along the lines of like, what do people say when you meet a big dog? Because I think that's how you started, right? You started out talking about big dogs.
Yeah, I've always talked about big dogs on stage. It's the first thing I ever did, and then I found that, and then it was funny. I used to do the bears story early, and then I would talk about my fear of dogs late when I started out in comedy, and then I realized, oh man, if I flip them and put the dog story in front of the bears, it makes the bear story even funnier. Because if I'm scared of dogs, 100% true, it makes the bear story even better. Well, if he's scared of dogs, he's gonna be terrified of bears. So yeah.
I always laugh about it because I have a big dog, and
Yeah.
She's 100 pounds. She's an American bully, and she looks like a pit bull, but she's a giant version of a pit bull. That's what American bullies look like.
Oh.
She's the big, and I'm gonna say everything in here. She's the biggest love. My they're constantly like literally. My vet had to come over to our house because she's such a baby about traveling that she has seizures. Like she gets that upset about it, and I try and put her in the car, and she has a seizure. So my vet started coming out to the house whenever we have to do something. God bless her. And so we needed her nails done. If you know anything about big dogs, they're the biggest babies when it comes to their nails.
Yeah.
Literally, me, who's almost 300 pounds, my vet, she's easily 180 pounds, holding down this 100-pound dog. And she is just making them like I couldn't hear myself talk. That's how loud she was howling and what we were doing. And like literally at one point, she popped us both off of her. Like that's how strong this dog is. Threw us.
Wow.
We came back on top of her, finally got her under control. And meanwhile, she's just making the god awfulest noises. Well, the fact of the matter is, if this was a violent dog, she would have bit the crap out of us. But she didn't.
Right. She never bit.
No, she was absolutely terrified, and she never bit us.
Hey, I just saw a video of a lady that had trouble cutting her dog's nails, and she put did you see that? And put peanut butter on her head? You should try that. Did you try that?
No, my wife just showed me that, and she said justice because when dog's head. And I was like, I'm going to try that because I mean, she'll rob a bank for any type of food. That dog's a hound when it comes to food.
Well, that's really interesting, though, that she didn't bite, though, because you're absolutely right about that. And I'm scared of dogs, but yeah, you're right. If she's not going to bite in that scenario, then she's not going to be bad. I got scarred as a kid.
Oh, well, dude, me too. I actually got mauled. I was 3 years old. I was playing underneath our family dining room table, and our Cocker Spaniel, who was both blind and deaf, I don't know why they were letting me play with her, probably because they didn't like me very much. But that dog grabbed hold of my head and just shook me. I mean, I had to have full surgery. Like, I've got scars here. The dog grabbed me. So that's why, like, anytime kids put their face in front of a dog's face, I'm, like, freaking out. I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't put your face in a dog's face. I mean, even my daughter, I don't let her do it with my dog. But I know Justice isn't going to do anything, but I still don't let her do it because of that.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I wish I would have told mine first because I'm just emotionally scarred.
Oh.
I just got a little spooked. And when my brother and I were little, I was like 8 and he was 4, and we were walking through our neighborhood, and we got like a block away from our house, and this big, huge, white, abominable snowman dog came at us. And I wish I were making this up, but it's true. I grabbed my brother, who I'm in charge of, and I used him as a shield, and I was holding him in front of me as I backed away because I was terrified. and at one point, I just thought about letting him go and ran home because I'm like, well, I can't let this dog get both of us. It was essentially the plot of Saving Private Ryan. I couldn't have both Reynolds boys be lost in one day.
One of us has to live to tell the tale.
One of us has to live. I used him as a shield, and that's my story. So I'm just emotionally scarred.
No, I mean, we all have our reasons why we don't like stories. But I mean, I love animals so much to a point. I absolutely love dogs. Cats, who I used to like be head over heels for. I'm not that big of a fan of cats anymore. They just, I don't know. They're such assholes.
They truly are. And my argument is I already have enough mouths to feed. I don't need to be having to be feeding another thing and then have to take it to the vet and all that.
I don't think anybody would argue with you on that. You have 6 children. So
we have 6, yes.
Who, by the way, I have to put this out there to the public so you understand how much I respect it. They are the most well-behaved children I have ever encountered in my life.
There's a lot of threats. So
let me tell you something, man. That reflects great you and your wife. And
well, thanks.
I've said this to you before, and you always say, "Well, it's my wife," but it's you too, man. Come on.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. I love them to death. They're good kids. When you have 6, though, there's always ups and downs, and it seems like one's always in trouble.
Oh, I'm sure, but I mean, you put them in a social situation, and they were like angels. I mean, and each one of them, like, and I'm referring to when we had the party for my daughter. Each one of them came up to me individually to thank me for the invitation. And
that's great.
I was like, "You're welcome." What do I owe you money now? Well, like, what? I've never seen children behave that well. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
That was a great time. We had an awesome time, awesome celebration for an awesome reason, and it was a lot of people there. That was a lot of fun that day.
Yeah, we had a blast, and of course, her personality has come out so much.
Yeah.
Such a little love, man. She's getting big. Goodness, she's getting big.
That's great, man. That's great. Yeah, that's one thing that's a couple things. We share a couple things. Comedians who have adopted, so a lot of fun.
Yeah, and there's kids out there that need it, so it's good that happened. What is the Bob Ross thing say? It's aggravating. No mistakes.
No mistakes. Happy accidents.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no mistakes. Only happy accidents.
That's right. That's what my mother said I was, a happy accident.
Yes. Yeah, they're easy to make, so I'm right there. But it's funny, I told you I was running late to us recording because I said we were doing a project. That's literally what we were doing. We were doing a family Bob Ross painting.
Oh.
And let me tell you, when you sit and watch Bob Ross, isn't it so enjoyable? It's relaxing. It's soothing. You're like, I love this guy. He's my hero. It's a whole other experience when you're actually trying to paint along with him. There is a lot of screw Bob's and Bob's an idiot and shut your mouth, Bob. And it is a lot of yelling at Bob Ross when you're trying to paint like him because he's so fast and he's just like, oh yeah, it's so easy. He says it's so you don't realize it when you're watching, but he says it just as easy as that, just super easy, and it's not easy.
No, I like when he talks about like especially when he makes the trees. He just takes that brush and he just goes doo, 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 doo. There's the trunk, and then he's got another brush where he just whips out the branches and the leaves and whatnot, and then it's done. And you're looking at him like that. No, what I'm doing is no.
Yeah, and the shading, the way he does shading, it's really difficult. But we had a lot of fun, but there was a lot of anger as well.
I think he was on something. He had to have been something. He's from the 60s, right? I mean,
yeah, he's either on drugs or he's the nicest man in the world.
Well, God rest him. I mean, we definitely lost someone when we lost him. So,
don't you think they need to make a movie about him? Doesn't that seem a little overdue?
I'm surprised they haven't. I'm surprised they haven't made a movie about him. Like they just made it. Did you see the movie about Mr. Rogers? Oh
yeah, yep. We just watched it about a month ago.
And I tell you, Tom Hanks, as always, does a fantastic job.
The man can do no wrong.
That man was a saint. I mean, and his wife tried to make him out to be like, well, he does get angry.
I know he does have a little bit of a temper.
Yeah, he gets angry. He just sits there and smashes on the piano, just a dun dun. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, how did that man learn to just channel all his anger and frustrations into something so passive? I mean, does anybody know his story why he was so? I mean, because the man was an angel. I mean.
Yeah, well, he talks about that. I heard it. I've listened to a podcast called Finding Fred, and it was really great. And there was a little bit of talk about that, about where he talked about he was a heavy kid, and they called him Fat Freddy. And I think that was the turning point. I think he found a way to handle the bullying in a positive manner, and then I think he, as an adult, figured out a way to teach that to other people. I think that's the core of where it started. The other thing that's really interesting about him is he's really religious too. He was like an ordained pastor. And what I really like about Mr. Rogers, because it's my style, is that he never brings it up in the show. But yet, if you said to anybody, do you think Bob Ross has like a strong belief in God? I mean, Bob Ross, Mr. Rogers. If you ask people if you thought Mr. Rogers had like the strong belief in God or, a religious background, I think everybody would be like, I think I would assume that, yeah, because he just kind of just that positive energy he gives off, and I really dig that about him, that he never like put it, pushed it down people's throats or whatever. It was more of like a lead by example rather than like shaking his fist in the air.
Yeah, and that is definitely you as well, because it's like anybody watching you would understand that you definitely have faith in your life, but you never once bring it up. You never once talk about anything like that. I don't like religion either, and I'm a religious guy, but I mean I don't like to talk about it because that's my personal belief. I don't like pushing that on anybody. But I'm not as level as you are.
I was raised like you don't talk religion and politics. And boy, that just went out the window with Facebook, didn't it?
Jesus. And then you got, the guy we got in office right now, he's low-hanging fruit, so everybody just pounces on it. And I think that's cheap comedy as far as I'm concerned. I mean, if you're going to do politics, at least make it constructive. I think the guy that does it the best, in my opinion, is Christopher Titus. I mean, because he attacks both sides.
Yeah.
Give anybody slack, and he's very intelligent about it. It's not low hanging; it's highbrow with him. But,
yeah, Colin Quinn was pretty good too. I liked his. I can't remember. Was it Red State, Blue State, or what was it called? I can't remember his special.
Like that, yeah.
But it was the same thing. Like he was really. I like people that attack both sides because that's how I feel. I don't like either one, so I like attacking both of them. That's fun.
Yeah, I am not like a politic. Matter of fact, I think they're all full of crap. I mean, and our governor right now, I mean, he's showing a really good face, and he's talking about he doesn't care about politics and all that kind of stuff. I love that, but still, there's a part of me going, I don't trust him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not supposed to trust our politicians.
I think that's a mistake to trust them. But I think a special on Bob Ross is definitely overdue. I think a special. Did they ever do one for who was God? I can't believe his name just flew out of my head. The Australian guy that loved the animals.
Steve Irwin.
Yeah. Have they ever done one for him? Because I mean,
no, that would be another one.
Yeah, because another really good, wholesome guy. That just, I mean, he was a wholesome guy. He was never out there cussing up a storm or being vulgar, and he had a great. His family is still doing what his legacy is, and
I know.
It, and that's all what he created, and that's again reflects great credit on him. And I mean, I think Bob Ross, Fred Rogers, and Steve Irwin are just like the trinity of good people that
Yeah. They're like they entertain with their passion and wholesome goodness.
Yeah, and regardless of people teased all three of them, but no one really had anything negative to say. Like Saturday Night Live was going to skit on each one.
Right.
Many comics have made teased them about things, but I mean honestly, what are you going to say? Oh, Fred Rogers, he was just nice. I mean, what do you say about him?
Right. Yeah, he was fantastic. We were talking though. We were like, if they did a movie on Bob Ross, who would play him? And my son threw out John Malkovich.
I mean,
I don't know if he has the wholesome goodness, but he would pull off the beard. I think he'd pull off the look good. I don't know.
I don't know. It's like I think too much of his past stuff would interfere. Like he's not one of those actors that really can get out of his typeset, I don't think. Yeah,
I think you're right. He's got too much of a crazy look in his eye.
I mean, definitely, I think he'd pull the look off. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Who else could play Bob Ross?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
I mean, Tom Hanks probably, but
yeah, exactly. Honestly, no. I was gonna say the guy that has lately been able to pull off like amazing the way he looks visually once again is Christian Bale. But he doesn't have the joyful goodness about him. But did you see Vice?
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing. Him as Dick Cheney.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that really throws me with him is that damn his teeth. His teeth always throw me.
Yeah.
He's got this thing going on, like where they pop out a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit vampire like.
Vampire-ish, yeah.
Yeah.
No, phenomenal actor though. Christian Bale was phenomenal. And he's a fan of the show, so hey, Chris.
Hey, shout out to Christian Bale if he's watching. You called him Chris. That was just like such a
first
name. Yeah, you're good. You guys are good.
I noticed you got a Beatles thing behind you too, huh? Big Beatles fan.
Crazy Beatles fan. Yeah, crazy Beatles fan. I'm sorry, say that again?
The movie Yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you a question, because wife and I were just recommended to watch this movie, and we bought it on Prime, started playing it, and there's a woman narrating in the beginning everything that's going on. Is that my TV, or is that actually part of the movie?
Of Yesterday?
I'm talking about the one where the guy wakes up.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's heard of the Beatles.
Oh, yeah. No, that's something weird on your end.
It's got to be my TV then.
Yeah, something weird because it's a pretty straightforward movie. It's a good movie. I think I wanted it to be great because I'm such a great crazy Beatles fan. But I watched it a second time and I liked it better the second time. I think my expectations are too high, but it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Okay, we stopped watching it because it was like that thing was freaking us out. The woman's like, and he walks in and looks at a man with curly hair, and I was like, what is this like some weird thing that they do in some movies? I think it was just my TV doing some. But I mean, the subtitles and all my shit was turned off, and somehow it was still doing that. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I mean, there was nothing super goofy or weird about the movie.
Okay.
So yeah, I feel like that was.
No one knows who the Beatles are.
Yeah, just no one knows who the Beatles were.
That'd be wild. All right, so who's your favorite Beatle?
Oh, Paul McCartney. I think Paul McCartney is the all-time greatest rock star of all time. I'm a huge Paul McCartney fan.
Yeah, you gotta love Sir Paul. I mean, and Ringo got knighted way late. Why do you think it took so long for Ringo to get knighted?
Because he's so goofy. They didn't want it. They didn't want him to be at the palace. They're like, oh, he's gonna say something, or he's just so goofy. But yeah, it was well deserved because Ringo is awesome. He's such a critical part of the Beatles that people don't realize.
He is awesome, but you're right. He's very goofy. There's a video, and I'm trying to remember the song, and you'll probably know what I'm talking about. But the four of them, they're like sitting in line towards the camera, and they're going back and forth like this. And Ringo's in the back, and the three in front are all singing, and Ringo's in the back, and he's just kind of staring off, like smiling, like he doesn't know the song. He just looks lost. Doesn't
know what to do. Yeah. I think that's Your Mother Should Know, the video they made when they were doing Magical Mystery Tour. And yeah, he's so great. The thing that I love about the Beatles that people don't realize that's so amazing. To me, they're more than music. They transcend music. They're a culture of their own. Is that everything we know about the Beatles, the looks, the albums, the songs, the stories, the moments, everything that they did that we know about happened in like an 8-year window. Everything. All the looks, from the mop tops to the long hair with the beards, from arriving in the U.S. Ed Sullivan to the rooftop concert, 12 albums, all these movies. It all happened from basically 62 to 70. They were playing before 62, and they released some stuff in Europe, but everything that we know as fans is 62 to 70. And it's just crazy to think about in 8 years they created all of that.
And they were monsters. I mean, like, they were so popular. There was a point where they're on tour and they're singing at a stadium, and they can't even hear themselves sing because the crowd is just so loud that they literally were saying gibberish into the mic, and no one noticed. Yeah, they were just screaming. And so, but once again, that's one of my favorite things about them is that they had to decide to stop playing live in the middle of their career. And so what do? They that allows them to record more albums, more music, and they became super experimental because they're like, these are just going to be studio albums, so we can put orchestras and we can put backwards guitars and we can do all this and double track stuff and it'll be fine because we're never going to play these songs live, which is really cool because they kind of got lazy and just kept they could have just kept churning out the pop music and they would have sold millions and millions of records. But no, they got experimental, and I'm a huge fan of their second half of their career. I grew up listening to the bebop, 8 days a week. I Want to Hold Your Hand, Love Me Do. And then when I was like 15, I heard I Am the Walrus. And somebody was like, this is the Beatles? And I was like, what? Because my parents didn't enjoy the second half of the Beatles' career. And so I love that second half. Yeah, the Magical Mystery Tour. I loved Sgt. Pepper's big time. Go ahead. Yeah. For me, it's all about the White Album. You get 2 discs. You get double discs, double the music. The White Album. One obscure song that I don't know if it ever hit anywhere, but I love Rocky Raccoon for some reason.
We love Rocky Raccoon. That's a polarizing song among Beatles fans.
It's a great. I just love it. It's catchy. You're wondering what the hell's going on, and you just like it. You enjoy that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's goofy. I love Paul McCartney on the White Album because Paul McCartney has the goofy song like Rocky Raccoon. He has the acoustic ballads like Blackbird. He has like the thrash rock. At the time, it would have been considered heavy metal in Helter Skelter. He has the old 1930s throwback with Honey Pie. He just is like he hit like so many genres. Oh, he like kind of give a backhanded compliment to the Beach Boys with Back in the USSR. He records a song that sounds like the Beach Boys and calls it Back in the USSR. Right. And yeah, it's just a variety. I love it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can't really say anything. I mean, there's tons of people that say lots of things bad about the Beatles, but they're idiots. The Lucy in the Sky and the Diamonds always makes me laugh. John Lennon was asked about that. They're like, what's that have to do with LSD and all this other stuff? And he was like, no, it was just about a chick named Lucy. I mean, he was just talking about how it's not symboling for anything. It's just a song.
It's a drawing. His son Julian drew his friend Lucy, and she was in the sky, and he couldn't make stars, so he had made diamonds.
Yeah.
And that's why he wrote Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
And everybody thinks it's about drugs and everything. He's like, no, it's not.
Yeah. I don't think it started that way.
You wonder why the guy went recluse for a long time. I mean,
yeah, he hated everybody.
He really did. I don't even think he liked Yoko.
Yeah, I think that's the only person he liked for whatever reason. She hypnotized him, but yeah, he started really. He was really negative in the 70s. I hate reading a lot of the articles with him because he crapped on a lot of the Beatles stuff too. But he kind of came around. He came around at the end when he was close to death. He'd done a few more positive type interviews, which was good.
There was a video I saw. It was like from I think 78 or 77, something right around that area. There was a homeless guy that was kind of poking around his house.
Yeah.
See that when he ended up inviting him in and feeding him and whatnot, and
yeah, that's such a cool video. Yeah, the guy was like, yeah, most millionaires would have been like, security, get this man off my property. And Lennon has him in. Didn't they have like toast or it was English, it was probably crumpets or something.
Yeah, it's a great video. I love seeing that because like you, I've seen like he was shitting on everybody for a long like. He had nothing nice to say about Paul McCartney, and he just shit on everybody for a long time. It's like when you read those articles, you're going, okay, well, I understand why they broke up now. Who would want to be around this asshole?
Right. I mean, he even like talked bad about himself. He was like, oh, that song was terrible, and you know, I was like, I wasn't even trying on that song, and yeah, so that's what I hate reading. But yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, especially when you're like, you love the song, and he's like, oh, that song's garbage, and it's like,
yeah.
Dude. You know,
yeah.
you went double platinum on that album. What are you talking about?
Yeah, shh.
Right. It's like, Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah. And you got like a version of Starry Night. It looks like with a Pac-Man for a moon. Is that?
No, this is a really poorly painted moon. I think it's just.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
it's like a Starry Night thing, right?
Yeah, it's a version of Starry Night that I think my daughter did.
It's not bad. It's pretty good. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I dig it. We have our one of our, I think this is one of our Compassion children. That's you can't see it very good, but that's Sosteen in Uganda. We sponsor her through Compassion, and we're pretty into that. And yeah, it's just a little bit of everything. Stranger Things, like I said, that's our favorite show.
Are you looking forward to the next season?
Dude, I'm looking forward to like next season, but man, this quarantine is hurting them because they can't film. And my understanding was they were filming season 4 this summer.
They already started doing some of it because they put out the trailer. Did you see the trailer?
Yeah, I think what they did was I think they filmed the Russia stuff in the winter. So I think some of it is in the can, but all the kids stuff they were going to be doing this summer. So hopefully this quarantine will get lifted because what stresses me out is that you know how kids age so quickly.
Right.
And if you spend too much time, all of a sudden these kids are going to be like 20 and they're supposed to be, 15 in the show.
Right. Yeah. It's a great show, and it takes me back, man. I grew up in the early '80s, late '80s, So it's like all that shit I remember. I was that kid playing D&D in my friend's basement, So I mean, it's just talking about some new girl that just came into town. I mean, I was,
Yeah.
So
Trying to get the high score on Dig Dug. It's the perfect show. I tell everybody it's the perfect show. Everybody loves it.
It's fantastic. Absolutely.
It's so fun.
Yeah, my sister, she's got 11. One of my sisters has 11 years on me, and her and her daughter absolutely love that show. So anytime anything comes up about it, she's like, "Josh, have you seen the new thing?" Well, not yet, but I'm going. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's because those guys are great.
So aside from you guys doing Bob Ross moments, do you have any terror stories from the quarantine? Does anything negative happen that you're kind of like, what the hell?
My 4-year-old drank a little bit of bleach, and I'm trying to think what else. So it was my daughter Kylie was doing this thing that I guess kids are doing now with her jeans, and she had a spray bottle of bleach and had sprayed it on her jeans to give it this effect, and then had left the thing outside. And my wife has these same spray bottles. She'll put water in them and she'll spray them at the kids or whatever. She was playing a game with our daughter Lucy, who's 4, and sprayed it in her mouth.
I just had this image in my head of every time they try to go near the kitchen, it's a spray bottle.
Yeah, it's like Dr. Evil. Yeah, no, get down, mini-me. Get off the table. Yeah, it's like that. And she went in the backyard and saw the bleach one and thought it was the water one, and she spray bottled. Yeah, she sprayed it into her mouth, and she came running, and she was like, ah. And I quickly figured out that she had sprayed some bleach. But when it's kid 6, you're just like, shake it off. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think we've had any other terror. It's been weird. For us, it's the NTI, the non-traditional instruction, because we're not smart, and I'm not smart, and I realize I look smart, and I'm not. And so I'm over here. We're running a preschool, an elementary school, a middle school, a high school, and a college, and I can't remember how to find the area of a square.
Jesus, my podcast partner Brandy, she has 4 kids, so she's homeschooling 4 children and working. She still works because she works at she's general manager of Wendy's, so she's working 60 hours a week, and she's homeschooling, and her husband works 50 hours a week. So that's why she's not here tonight, is because she is losing her effing mind, and she's like, Josh, I want to be on the show. She goes, but what little sleep I need, that's when all the podcasts are. And it's just like, no, I totally understand, honey. But God, I just thought, like, when you said I'm running this school, I'm going, oh my God, yeah, you got it even worse than poor Brandy does.
Well, no, we don't. I mean, I have such admiration, and I feel and so much sympathy for parents that are considered essential and are having to do NTI. My wife and I, we are neither one essential. Nobody needs us. So no, we're both home. So poor Brandy. Brandy, shout out to Brandy, because that's as tough as it gets. Because no, we're struggling, and we're both home all day. So
it's and my wife's normally home because she's a financial planner.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got clients throughout the United States. So she just takes care of people's money. So obviously she's essential. So she's still working. Thank God, because I'm obviously not essential. I used to be. For 20 years I was essential. I'm not essential anymore. So, but the good thing is, we're getting a ton of family time in. My daughter is just loving the fact that she's got access to everybody all the time now. Because during nights, usually I'm gone at night. And now I'm here, and I'm putting her to bed all week long, and she's loving that. And so that's always good.
That's awesome, man. I didn't know your wife was a financial planner. Might have to call her up and have her help me diversify my Arby's and Wendy's coupons. And
if you ever need help, man, she's more than happy. She thinks the world of you guys. So
I'll be like, okay, first, can you give me money, and then let's plan how we should do. Is that what a financial planner is? They give you the money and then you store it away. Is that how it works?
If that was the case, wouldn't it?
Let me start.
Got back. We just.
That's the one thing I've noticed is that that's one of my biggest changes in this quarantine is that I'm always very conservative with our money. I save money. I'm always like, you got to have money in the bank and very money conscious. But now that I'm not making any and we now don't have any, I've turned into a hippie. I'm like, you know what is money? It's just man-made currency. It's just made up numbers. It's just paper. It's not that important.
It's not even based on gold anymore. It's worthless.
What is money? Yeah, I said that. I was like, what is money anyways? What are we all worried about? So yeah, I've turned into a hippie now.
Oh, man, one other thing I wanted to talk about real quick. I didn't want to go too delve in because I don't want to bring the mood down too much. But I wanted to ask you about Molly. How's Mighty Molly doing?
Yeah, so my niece Molly got diagnosed with leukemia in August, and she is doing as well as can be expected. Unfortunately, what happens is I don't know all the technical terms, but it's her A and C levels when they get low, and I guess that's the things that are in her immune system that help fight off sickness. When her A and C numbers get low, she has to stay at the hospital until they get back up, because basically then if she gets sick, she doesn't have anything to fight it off. So man, and when she has a fever, they have to take her to the hospital, and that's when they check those A and C levels. So unfortunately, since August, it seems like every 2 months she's had to spend a few weeks in the hospital. And so right now she's at the hospital, and she's been there for a little over a week, but she's in good spirits. Like, she's not like hospitalized. She's coloring and she's pulling pranks on the staff. And so, but her ANC levels are it's at 0, which means like if she got subjected to any sickness, the flu or whatever, it could be horrible for her. So, and obviously with the virus going around, extra caution being taken. So yes, I appreciate you asking, but yeah, she's unfortunately in the hospital, which is a bummer, but she is as good as can be expected.
Well, I just wanted you to know that the wife and I, we always say prayers for her.
That's great.
We want to do whatever we can, prayer warriors. We definitely believe in that and believe that, if anything can be done, it will be done. And, just pass that on that, she's got other people that she doesn't even know out there praying for her, because that's a tough little girl, man. What a racket to throw on such a young child. And for all the pictures you showed, she's always looking like she's just fighting,
Yeah, she's always fighting. She's always positive. She's always having a good time. So yeah, very lucky.
A girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Hey, man, so where can people go to find out information about you? Like, what's your social media and all that kind of stuff?
It's all pretty much Shawn Reynolds Comedy, SHAWN. I'm Shawn Reynolds Comedy on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. It's my website, ShawnReynoldsComedy.com. Currently doing our family podcast, which I'm super pumped about. It's something that we've planned since last year. I wish we had launched it last year, because it would be perfect in the quarantine to already have like 30 episodes. But we were on episode 3. It's basically just it's activities that we have done as a family that are outside the box. It's stuff. Our episode number 2 was a road scavenger hunt that I had put together for the kids, where they can get in the car and go and take pictures of stuff and make videos. We kind of like updated it. It's like the 2020 version of scavenger hunt, where you can do cell phone videos. I made them recreate. One of the things they had to do in the scavenger hunt was recreate a 30 to 60 second scene in a movie, and they did a shot for shot 60-second remake from Jojo Rabbit, which is one of my top 10 new favorite movies. And it was just
like that movie, huh?
Oh, love that movie. It's the perfect movie. So yeah, it was stuff like that. So that's what the Family Outside the Box is, and everything with the podcast is through Shawn Reynolds Comedy, because I can barely keep up with my own social media, let alone have a second one for my podcast. So
sure. No, that's awesome. And I'll make sure I put that up on the screen so people can see it. And if you're just listening, you'll just have to rewind and listen to what he said again. If you didn't get it the first time, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it'd be great. We're really proud of it. We're having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, no, dude, you got everything in the world to be proud of. That's a fantastic family you have there, man. And I love the fact that you took the time out to come out here, to talk to me tonight, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I'm a big fan of Josh Sardam, so I'm glad to be here.
Well, believe me, my friend, the respect and the feeling is mutual. Believe me.
Awesome.
But so we're going to wrap this up. For Shawn Reynolds, I'm Josh Sardam. You guys have a great night. Hey guys, I hope you liked the video, and if you like the show, make sure you throw a like down there somewhere. There should be a like, and there's a subscribe button over here.
And hit the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell. And
And, check us out, man. Stay in touch with us. We're always putting out videos every week, and it should be a lot of fun, right?
Write us a letter.
Right as rain. Right as the man.